At the time that I was diagnosed, I was 31 years old. I was diagnosed in 1962, so it's been a very long time. My husband and I had two special daughters, and they were 2 and 4. And so it was pretty scary to think ahead. Chemo at that time was not available. At least it was not offered to me anyway, so the surgeon decided that I'd have radiation. The radiation also caused that I would not have any more children, which made me a little sad. But it was something that had to be done. I also did have a radical mastectomy, which I know now is very seldom used. The radiation was so different in that at that time you laid on the table and they had sandbags to prepare the treatment and so forth. So it's very different. It's very different. I guess the one thing I always kept thinking in my mind, I want to be around long enough that I can at least get my girls through high school. And I did, so I'm glad. As I say, I'm lucky. I really am.
I was diagnosed when I was 60 years old. I tell you, when you hear the C word, you just think you're not ever going to live another day. I feel very fortunate that I only had to have a partial mastectomy and then, of course, radiation. Your body still goes through a lot and you still get little aches and pains. And for a long time afterwards, you get an ache and pain and you think, oh, it's come back. I go to lots of fundraisers and events. I teamed up with Komen, Nebraska, and we promoted the Nebraska breast cancer license plate. Whenever I hear of a lady who has just found out she's been diagnosed with breast cancer, I reach out to them and give them pep talks and try to help them get a positive attitude. I just feel like attitude is a whole big deal.
I was just turning 40 and I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, stage 2A. Talking to my kids about my breast cancer diagnosis was challenging because my husband and I decided, well, we need to be upfront with them. We need to tell them what is happening, but we also have to be aware that they're little kids. So we were as factual as we could, but always told them, Mom's sick. She's going to be very sick for a while, and we have to take care of her, all of us. We cannot give her hugs the usual way, So my husband actually had to practice giving me hugs in my legs. And it's so cute to remember that, because they were just so innocent. Sometimes we want to shield our family. We need to give them credit. Like I mentioned my kids, my husband, my mom. In 2 days, she arranged everything so she could be here for 6 months. And I will forever be grateful for that because she was so worried. She wanted to be here and see what was happening. Part of me wanted to not tell her, but then on the other hand, I thought she would kill me if she knew, when she finds out a year later that I went through this and she wasn't here. So I just kind of broke the news slowly and gave her credit, and she handled it beautifully and was there for me. So don't shy away from sharing with your loved ones, because it's part of what sustains us and strengthens us and let us survive.
When I was 27 years old, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 2. When I first was diagnosed in 2010 and I started treatment, I was still a teacher in the classroom. So I had to take naps a lot when I got home. But on the flip side, what was also surprising was then also the amount of energy that I did have to continue to work. Even if I was barely making it home at the end of the day, I still was able to get up every morning and do my calling, go to work and teach the kids that I love to teach every day. only been 26 when I originally found the lump. There were doctors who felt like, you're too young, it's not breast cancer. You have to trust what your body is telling you and be an advocate. Move forward with any testing, anything that you need to do just to be sure. Early detection is the key. In this day and age, we work and we take care of our kids too. And so a lot of things we put on the back burner, but your health should never be one of them, because those things that you're here for, you won't have an opportunity to do if you don't take care of yourself first.
I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer when I was 33 years old. When my nurse navigator, Deb, who I'm now very good friends with, said, you have breast cancer, the first thing I said to her was, I don't know what invasive means. That sounds bad. And she said, no, honey, that's what breast cancer is called. And she was very calm and very reassuring. And then I said, well, am I gonna die from this? And she said, oh no. You're not gonna die from this. You're gonna be 80 and you're gonna dance at your kids' weddings. How this is just gonna be a blip and it's just gonna be a part of my story. I just think that we have to understand that there is a cure for this out there, and money buys that cure. And when I first got diagnosed, I was a little hesitant. I didn't know, well, what does Susan G. Komen really do? They're saving lives by doing pre-screens and by doing early detection. They're saving lives with their grants. They are saving lives by saying, we're gonna help you have a translator at your appointment. I thought it was very exceptional that they are providing so much to people who don't have the means to have proper screening, because that is where this all starts. If we're not screened early enough, then more people are gonna die from breast cancer. And if we can make less people die from breast cancer, then I think that's winning the game until we have a cure, because we don't have a cure right now. People need to understand that that money is valuable and that every dollar makes a difference, and that every dollar is eventually going to buy the science that cures the life of people with breast cancer.